And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. My name is Pep Fernandez. We are live and amplified here at Teen Vision TV 16. Huge shout out to our director, Johnny Nunez, behind the scenes here, making it happen every single Wednesday night as we bring you the very best in Inland Empire sports talk. Now, we got another big, juicy show. We're talking high school football in every single show. That's our pledge to you, to the IE, to talk high school football every single show. A little bit later, we will talk with George Wilson, the head football coach at Murrieta Valley. Some neat things happening right now with the Nighthawks we're going to share with you. And then also, cross-country season is off and running. Brad Peters, the legendary cross-country coach at King High School, they just had their first Big VIII League meet of the season at King this past Saturday. So we will talk to Coach Peters about how it went and what the rest of the Big VIII League season will look like. So that's a little bit later in the show. And then also some big breaking news coming out of California Baptist University about their men's basketball team. So we will get to that as well. But right now, we lead off the show, and it's always a treat to have this guy. He is live from the Broach Man Cave, somewhere deep in the Inland Empire. It is the legendary Coach Broach, Kraig Broach, who is now the head football coach, if you haven't heard, for the Liberty Bison. And, Coach, I got to be honest, when I heard about Liberty High School, I actually had to pull out my Inland Empire map and find the location of Liberty High School. But it's down there in the Menifee area. So my first question is, what brought you back? What were you missing about football to get you back on the sidelines here?
Well, Pep, I was bored. Through everything, I really tried to become a good golfer, and the more time I spent out on the golf course, I just realized this is not for me, and so I need to figure out something that I'm decent at. And so when this opportunity came up, and everything fit in. But honestly, it's just being away a little bit. You kind of see what's happening around you, and it just. I was kind of being selfish. I want to be back with kids, and I want to connect, and I was missing that. And so luckily this situation arose, and I got selected, and man, it feels really nice to be back and doing something that's meaningful. It's pretty important to me right now.
So, Coach, obviously you're no stranger to building a football program from scratch. You did it at Heritage High School. So I think, obviously your resume speaks for itself in terms of taking a football program, building it, and getting it to a level where you're going to compete for championships. What were some of the things that maybe you enjoyed about having a blank canvas at Heritage and kind of building something there that maybe you can try and duplicate at Liberty?
Well, you kind of said it at the beginning. The blank canvas is the idea. There's no expectations. You don't know what you have, and you're building everything from the ground up. That was so fun at Heritage, where you started with expectations, none. From JV football and not having seniors, and then all of a sudden you had some success, and it just sort of built. That was spectacular. And so having another opportunity where you have a clean slate and you can try to start new traditions, and you just start anew, and it's not about carrying anything over. You just get to do something that's new, and I couldn't pass up that opportunity. It was special the first time, and I think it's going to be really, really sweet here the second time.
Now, Coach, I don't know if or when, I'm sure it's on the horizon at some point in the future that you might play Heritage at some point. Have you thought what it might be like to go up against Coach Contreras and Heritage and be on the other sideline for once?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I hope not. Heritage is such a special place with special people, and just quality people, and not only Coach Contreras, but the whole staff there, and just friends that you've really grown up with the last 10 to 13 years. And so if that happened, obviously there's going to be some mixed emotions, and I don't even know how I'd be able to handle it. Like you say, is going on the other side of the sideline. That would be a crazy feeling for me, and I just don't know how I'd react to that, and especially with Adam and what a great leader he is. Let's just hope that's way down the horizon, at least from my standpoint.
Well, Coach, let me ask you about the league that Liberty could possibly be in. We know Heritage is part of the Rain Cross Conference, and that includes a lot of schools down in that part of the county, and the Riverside schools in Moreno Valley. But could it be Mountain Pass? Could it be Rain Cross Conference? Is it still up in the air? What do we know so far about what league you guys could be in?
Well, yeah, I don't know anything. So what you mentioned were the two possibilities that I've heard also is, being part of the Rain Cross Conference and where we fit. I'm assuming we'd be on the third rung. And when it comes to Mountain Pass, that's something that the ADs, I believe, are voting on here in the next few months about where we might fit. And ultimately, that's going to be up to them. The good thing about this year that's coming up is we're going to be playing varsity football. And so that was pretty enticing to me when Coach Moore, our athletic director, brought that up. It just seemed a logical thing to do. And so league, if we're in the Mountain Pass, that's where Heritage started way back when. I'm familiar with the teams in that league. And if it's the Rain Cross, obviously we've been there in the last couple of years, and that would be great also. And so I have no clue when it comes to where we'd be playing football in 2 years, but whatever happens there, it's going to be neat to build this school, Liberty. And it's if you haven't been down there, Pep, holy cow, it is a spectacular campus. So
well, your athletic director Scott Moore already invited me down to take a tour, so I'm gonna keep him to that because I do want to see the campus. And when I was texting with Mr. Moore, about Liberty football here, I just assumed that you open the doors to the school in the fall of 2021 this year, and then naturally you would start varsity football the following season. But as you just mentioned, you guys will have a handful, several, maybe a full schedule. I'm not sure what that will look like, but of varsity football this fall. I guess as an independent, can you kind of explain how that might kind of work this fall, playing varsity?
Yeah, we're going to be freelance the first year because we are not connected to a league or anything like that. And so right now, Coach Moore is in the midst of just trying to find like schools when it comes to our situation and just try to fit into their schedule, because a lot of these schools already have their schedule set, a year or two in advance. And really, so we're on the hunt, for around the county, even going down into San Diego County, looking for schools, again, that are in a like situation to us that just have an opening. And especially the first year, we'll go anywhere, and we'll play anybody. And so it's really a unique situation of you're just scrambling to find whatever you can. I'm not sure how that connects to playoffs or anything like that, but if we could find 10 varsity football games, that's what we'll do. If that doesn't work, there's opportunities to play kind of a split schedule where you're playing a number of varsity games, and then you buffer the rest with JV games that where teams may have bye weeks in their schedule and need that third game.
So, Coach, with a brand new school, when would you actually get your players on campus? Because I don't know how that would work. I mean, maybe like June or July that you start seeing who's enrolled at the school, and I mean, how does that even work?
Well, you keep on asking me questions I don't have the answer to, Beth. So there's a few things that go into it. Until the school year's over, there's no Liberty students regardless, even when it comes to registration. And so students finish out the school year where they're currently at, if it's either ninth grade at one of the schools in the district or at their middle school. And once the last day of school year begins, that's when they become yours, when they're enrolled in your school, is when summer begins. And so the next part is when do we start our summer program? And a lot of has to do with with what's going on right now. Things are looking better. But then when it comes to Liberty High School, is when are the facilities going to be accessible? And we're hoping that we can have the summer program on Liberty High School on the football field. If not, we'll find a neighboring school that we'll be able to hold that with. But these are all great questions that we're trying to figure out as we speak. And so, I'm what is it, about a week onto the job right now. And so there's a lot of questions I have. And so, I just want a Liberty hat. That's my number one thing. So in time, we have time for all that stuff, but. These are fun things to work, and all these things about setting up something from new and just creating a foundation and what your traditions are going to be. Heck, what's your stretching routine going to be? What's going to be your chants and warm-ups and all that stuff? These are all things that I don't have answers to, and that's kind of fun,
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that Liberty powder blue, the light blue? Did you wear that shirt for a reason for this show?
That's right. Yep, I'm trying to sport the Liberty colors right here. I thought it also brought out the brown in my eyes, and so I thought I looked really nice there. But yeah, I'm wearing that, and you know, in the background you see on the little panda, there's a little bison beanie that I have there, and so we're trying to sport, and quickly here we'll get our gear out to you, and maybe we can throw something your way to have in the studio there.
Yeah, you know, because I went to the school website and I did see that the new Bison logo. It's pretty awesome. It is pretty cool. Yeah. So we would welcome that to the Inland Sports Studio. Well, Coach, listen, thank you so much. Congratulations on the new gig at Liberty.
All right, thanks a lot, Pep.
All right, that's Kraig Broach, head football coach for the Liberty Bison. Get to know them. Yeah, they will become household names very soon here on the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, more high school football talk. We will check in with George Wilson down at Murrieta Valley. We'll be back here on the Inland Sports Show.
What's going on, guys? This is Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training. You're watching the Inland Sports Show with the one and only Pep Fernandez.
Hey guys, it's Pep Fernandez from the #1 sports show in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. I wanted to let you know about the BASS School. That stands for the Boost Alternative School for Student Athletes. All of us are trying to find a way to get ahead in the classroom and in athletics. If you're a parent, you know goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or stadium. First time, and they won it. So next year, the Super Bowl in 2022 is in Los Angeles at the brand new SoFi Stadium. So if there's a new trend in history now, and maybe we'll say there is, we'll say the Rams or the Chargers will be playing in the Super Bowl and win it next year. How about that?
Maybe Stafford, maybe Herbert.
Yes.
I can see it.
Right? Same thing. New quarterback on a new team. Brady, the Buccaneers. Stafford and the Rams. Home stadium in Los Angeles. It all comes together like this. KCAL rocks 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday. We're talking sports, so I hope you'll join us there on the radio dial. All right, more high school football here. Again, we are, fingers crossed, very hopeful to have some sort of a high school football season this spring. It's looking better and better by the day. We don't have an answer yet, but a lot of teams out there are putting in the work. They're staying ready. They're working out. In fact, right now, we're going to go live. I believe he's at a practice. Murrieta Valley High School. He's one of our favorites. Head coach George Wilson. Coach, did you guys just wrap up a workout? Like, I'm assuming you're on campus right now, right, at Murrieta Valley High School?
No, I'm actually at my daughter's softball practice.
Even better, because, see, you're pulling double duty, coach and dad. So now you're in dad duty right now.
That's right.
Well, Coach, I'm so glad to have you on the show. And full disclosure, like I tried to get you on the show last week, and you're like, hey, Pep, I'm kind of in the hospital right now. I can't do your show. But can you explain what happened? And I'm glad that you're all, obviously you're doing much better.
Yeah, Sunday night I had appendicitis, so I had my appendix taken out on Sunday night last week. And then I think you called me on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I said, hey, man, I'd love to, but I'm in the hospital. Let's do it next week.
Yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, I feel like a real jerk. I mean, I didn't know, but I was like, I feel so bad. He's in the hospital, and here I am. Hey, Coach, let's talk football. But I'm so glad we finally got you on the show. And, Coach, Murrieta Valley, it's one of those schools and school districts where it's had great leadership, and you guys have continued to work out, continuing to try to stay ready for what could be some high school football this spring. How have those workouts been going for you guys?
They're really good. I mean, obviously, we're practicing, we're getting good at football and stuff like that, but morale and team spirit-wise, just for the boys to see each other all the time and work together and put the work in together, that to me, that's been the most rewarding part of the deal.
Coach, I mean, just the fact that you can have your team together on the field, running around, coaches yelling. I mean, I think a lot of people just simply miss those little things. I mean, how important was it for your student athletes, but your coaches too, just kind of be around each other again and start doing some football-related things?
That's exactly right, Pep. It's all the, people talk about the bonds with your football team and your coaches and the camaraderie, and it's really the product of just spending so much time together and we're able to spend that time together, and it's been huge for the coaches and the players.
Well, Coach, let's talk about your team a little bit. Talk about maybe some of the guys that you have coming back, especially maybe those seniors that we're hoping to see suit up a couple more games in a Nighthawk uniform before their high school careers are up. Who are some of the guys that you're looking forward to hopefully seeing this spring?
Well, we had some seniors that we're looking forward to having a big 12th grade year. We had a running back, DJ Watts. We had a linebacker, Caden D'Amico. We had a linebacker, Tyler Sharble. We had some transfers come in, kids like Jalen Leonard and Dean Connors. We had a lot of seniors that really motivate us to really try to get this thing going.
So, Coach, how do you balance between, again, staying ready just in case if we have some high school football this spring, and also thinking about, okay, what do I need to do right now to get ready for the fall? Because before we know it, the fall season will be upon us. And I know, with a program like Murrieta Valley, you guys have a great off-season program. I'm sure there's probably a lot of action in the weight room and all those sorts of things. So how is it balancing staying ready for the moment right now, but also looking ahead to, okay, what's next season going to look like? How are we getting better and preparing for the 2021 fall season?
Well, we're getting ready for this season, and I think a byproduct of that is a lot of guys are getting developed, a lot of younger guys. And plus, we have some leadership guys. I mean, our quarterback, Brandon Rose, he's got multiple Pac-12 offers. He's an underclassman. The leader of our line, Jake Steele, he's being heavily recruited. He's an underclassman. So a lot of our key guys are underclassmen. But I haven't found those two things to kind of be separate from each other. We're getting ready to play this season, and in that vein, I think the younger guys are also developing and doing well.
No, I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. Both things can be true. You can be getting ready for right now and also, again, preparing for what 2021 in the fall will look like for the Nighthawks. Now, Coach, what does a practice look like right now in terms of how different is it from a normal football practice? Because we've talked to a lot of coaches on here, and there's protocols. There's only so many guys on the field, or they're in their pods, and what does a Murrieta Valley practice kind of look like right now, and how is it different?
Well, when we first started, it was conditioning only. So, it was just kind of footwork and running and things of that nature. And then right before Christmas break, we get cleared to use a football, which really changed some things. It was a big morale boost, really, because we could do a lot of things with the football, obviously. But everyone wears a mask, and they can't touch each other and stuff like that. So those are the two big ones. We do a lot of sanitizing and things of that nature. But probably the big thing is you can't touch each other. I mean, the masks aren't that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. You can kind of do everything with the mask on, but not being able to touch each other. I mean, we can run plays on air and do things like that, but we can't mix it up or anything.
So, Coach, I think the CIF rule is, is it 2 weeks in helmets and pads before, or 10 days before you actually get to that first game of the season? Like, have you thought in your mind what that calendar might kind of look like in terms of, okay, if our first game is on this date, let's rewind and go 2 weeks from there, or maybe even 3 weeks, I don't know, in helmets and pads, just make sure that your players are physically ready for 4, 5, however many high school football games we might get in here?
Yeah, for us to have a full league schedule of 5 games, the date would be March 1st. We'd want to put helmets on March 1st and get ready to go. So anything past March 1st would then eat into that 5-game schedule.
And Coach, we've been waiting and kind of pushing off that decision. I say we, but the state to see if we're going to have high school football. During that process, how do you keep morale up with the guys? Is it just a simple fact that you guys are out there together as a team? Is that enough, of a morale booster to keep the kids positive and kind of encourage them to say, hey guys, there's still a chance. We just got to keep moving forward, keep getting better, because there's still a chance. They haven't said no. Time's running out. They haven't said no, but there's still a chance.
You know, Pep, I was concerned about that going into the deal, but to our kids' credit, they've been doing a great job. I mean, they show up, they're about the work, and you know, and I think everyone kind of says the same thing: control what you can control, and we can control Murrieta Valley getting together and having great workouts. That's what we can control. So we take that and we try to do a really good job with it. But I've been pleasantly surprised at the character that our guys have shown through all this adversity.
Well, Coach, I know football is on the clock, but I'm more confident today than, let's say, a week or two ago about having a spring football season. So I guess that's the good news. But I know time is running out, but I'm still hopeful. I'm still optimistic, and it sounds like you guys are too down there at Murrieta Valley High School. Coach, I really appreciate it. It's good seeing you. I'm glad you're out of the hospital. I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad you're at your daughter's softball practice. But I appreciate you taking some time here on the Inland Sports Show.
Absolutely. Anytime, Pep. Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. You're the best. That's Coach Wilson down there with the Nighthawks. Thank you, Coach. Always appreciate the time. Look, he's being dad out there with his daughter at softball practice and still jumped on the show. We do appreciate it. We're going to take another break. When we come back, he is the head cross-country coach at King High School. He is a local cross-country legend. It is Brad Peters. He's going to join us next, talk about that first Big VIII League meet of the season and what's next in the land of the Big Eight. So Coach Peters coming up here on the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back. And this segment...
This is Alexander Madison. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports. Calling all athletes. Make sure you're at your very best by training at Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you're a football player, soccer player, baseball player, lacrosse, athletes from all sports and all levels train at Boost Performance Training. Led by former Centennial High School football star Ray Bass, you'll develop explosive power, become faster, and add that lean muscle. Don't be left behind and get a leg up on the competition at Boost Performance Training. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for information on their training programs and also on the Bass School. That's the Bass Alternative School for student athletes. Trying to earn a scholarship? Maybe make the varsity team? Get a spot in the starting lineup? Well, let Boost Performance Training help achieve your athletic goals.
I would say the one thing that we stress more than anything else is service to our customer. Make sure that they're taking care of whatever you can do to make sure that that order gets to them on time and it's the right quality and what they want. I've been that way since 1976. That was my goal, to reach out to local sports programs, and it's grown from there, and we've been very, very fortunate. My grandson is right over here. He's working for us, and he's going to college right now, and that's exactly what my son did 20-some years ago, and it keeps on going, you know. Customers that come in the store that it's amazing. People that I haven't been here since I was a little kid, and I used to come in here all the time, and then now I'm bringing my son in here, or a grandpa that's bringing his grandson in here that came in here when we first opened back in '76. We just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this community and this Inland Empire for going into our 44th year now, and it's just been a blessing.
We are
are the IE. We work hard. In fact, that's the way we like it. We wake up early, we stay up late to get the job done right. That blue-collar, hard-working mentality is the same reason we have so many successful teams and coaches and athletes in the Inland Empire. We never give up. We are a resilient bunch in the IE. Everything we have, we've earned. No excuses. It's this determined attitude is what powers our small businesses, and that's how championships are won. The Inland Sports Team is looking to team up with other like-minded small businesses in the IE. Together, we can grow. We can be bigger and better. If it was easy, everyone would do it, but we're not looking for easy, just looking for an opportunity. Joining the Inland Sports Team could be the opportunity that you've been looking for. And welcome back, everybody, to the Inland Sports Show. Make sure you give us a follow or a like or subscribe to our social media platforms and the YouTube channel as well. If you're watching live on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, we say thank you. Now, we talk a lot of high school football on this show, of course, but listen, right now, the sport is cross country. They are off and running, and we've been talking cross country with some local coaches the past couple of weeks. And joining us tonight, fresh off a Big VIII League meet this past Saturday, is King head coach Brad Peters. He has been coaching cross country for a long, long time in our area. He's one of the greats. Coach, listen, I appreciate you joining us here on this show. You have done such a great thing at King High School and for a long, long time, but specifically this past Saturday, having a Big VIII League meet. I know it probably looked a little bit different from a traditional cross-country meet, but nevertheless, you guys were out there running and competing. How good was it to see, your team, the Harriers, with King on their, on their uniforms going up against another school, and just the fact that they're competing again?
Yeah, I did the math. Well, I had Google do the math, and it had been 441 days since they had last worn the uniform, which was at CIF Finals back in 2019. So that's a long haul. Distance runners are used to going long distances, obviously, but 441 days is a long time. So just seeing the uniform on them again and sensing that they had the butterflies floating around their bellies a little bit. Yeah, it was good. It was a long wait, and a lot of I kept telling the kids, they just keep moving the starting line on us, and we finally got to a starting line that wasn't going to move. So that was good. It was a good day.
Is it kind of strange, being a longtime cross-country coach, to have cross-country meets in the month of February? I mean, we're going to butt right up against the track season now. Is it kind of strange?
It is. It's strange, but it's actually not that bad because we'd be training at this time of the year anyway. And honestly, I'll take the 70, 68-degree days over the 98-degree days of August and September any day of the week. It's been weird, but at the same time, there's been some advantages to it. Once we got the green light to go ahead and start doing it, we're not worried about heat stroke or heat illness, and this is just going to pour right on into track, which is kind of what most of our kids are doing anyway. In the month of February, we're getting ready for track, so it all works out. It's been good.
Yeah, the weather has been fantastic in this area, especially for your runners. Coach, so the Big VIII League meet that you guys hosted this past Saturday, I mentioned it that it doesn't look like a traditional cross-country meet where everyone's on the course and they're all competing. Can you talk about the way it was structured in terms of, so it's a duel against one other school in terms of, keeping the kids kind of separated and trying to keep those groups smaller, I guess, on the course?
Yeah, it actually went really well. We had designated start times, and in a sense, it was 3 separate dual meets. They just happened to all be on one course, on one campus, on one day. But the gap between arrival of schools 1 and 2 and departure and the arrival of schools 3 and 4 was enough that nobody saw each other. So we ran in the second race of the day. Our kids were gone before the third race even showed up. So In terms of the planning that the athletic directors put together, along with the health department, administrations of districts, it really went well. And we just kind of had to put aside the thought that our other league opponents are operating in a race on the same day. It really was a dual meet. So for Martin Luther King, we were up against Centennial, and that's all we were thinking about was Centennial. And this Saturday we'll rotate and we'll be up against Roosevelt. So it was weird, again, the contrast between what most cross-country races are like, even at the Big VIII League level. We've got 450 kids in a normal year in 4 races, and hundreds of fans, and it's kind of like a little mini invitational. And then we go to the bigger meets, whether it be Mount Sac or the Riverside City Invitational. All of those meets have thousands of people there. Hundreds of kids, even a couple thousand kids competing. So very, very different in that regard. Quiet, limited spectators, fewer kids. All of our Big VIII rosters are smaller than they normally are, as we've lost some kids to COVID concerns or just attrition, kids not wanting to continue waiting and getting on with other things. So it was different. But all of that considered, I think it went really, really well.
So that strategy that you guys implemented for this meet this past Saturday at King High School with the duels, is that the strategy going forward for the rest of the Big VIII? You mentioned Roosevelt, and I think Roosevelt's the host school for all for the duels this coming Saturday.
Correct.
Is that kind of the strategy now going forward, because it works so well? It sounds like.
Yeah, I think they're tweaking the schedule just a little bit to kind of shorten the day. But yeah, we're going to rotate between Martin Luther King and Roosevelt, and then back to King the next Saturday, back to Roosevelt, and then finishing back at King. My understanding is we picked the two campuses because of the size of the campuses and kind of the way things are laid out. Those 2 campuses were a little bit more conducive to laying out a 3-mile course on. So it ended up just being the 2 campuses. And that's good. I think right now, given everything that COVID has thrown at people, a little bit of continuity and clarity, like we know where we're going to go. Those things are good things right now.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's complaining about who's hosting. I think just the fact that the kids are out there and competing and running, I think that's a victory in itself right there. Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, because I just kind of assumed that of all the sports, cross country was the one that kind of lent itself to being socially isolated, working out on your own. You don't need a lot of equipment. So, leading up to the cross country season, were you able to connect maybe with some of your runners and say, hey, I just need you running 10 miles a week, or you go out on your own in your neighborhood, How were you able to, keep your runners, their fitness levels up and keep them ready? Because we saw the writing on the wall as a purple tier sport. Like cross country, I always figured was going to happen. How did you keep your runners ready for that moment?
Well, in terms of personal contact, obviously we couldn't have any. And so everything was being encouraged on our website, putting out weekly recommendations for workouts. And then kind of just on the honor system, if they wanted to do it and were motivated to do it, let's go. After we got through the spring and before the big surge in COVID at the end of the summer, there was, kind of this anticipation like, hey, we're going to have a season. We don't quite know what it will look like, but everybody was kind of thinking about, by August, September, we'll probably be racing again. And then, of course, the COVID numbers got out of hand. And so as soon as that happened, I just met with the kids on Zoom, and I said, all right, everything's getting delayed. Let's pause a little bit here, kind of really minimize the work you've been doing, just enough to maintain some fitness, because we don't know when we're going to get started. And I don't want us, peaking way before we're supposed to. And sure enough, even the slated start that we thought we were going to have in late July, August, that got bumped back another month. So for the most part, I think most coaches would say their kids fell into 2 camps: those that were doing something and those that were doing very little. And I understand that. I've just embraced whatever fitness they came in with. And some of our kids came in very fit and very ready to go. And others are like, hey, this is my first day. And all right, welcome. we're outside. We're not in front of a computer. So that's all good. Let's get started.
So, Coach, with that said, how were the times this past Saturday?
I was pleased. The amount of hard work that we've been doing has been somewhat limited. But we'd had enough that we could put kids on the start line and feel confident that we're gonna have a decent showing. Our course was perfectly flat, but there was a section of football fields, softball field, or soccer fields that were soft and kind of a little gopher hold and a little bit of the tire tracks from the lawnmowers. And that part of the course, which they traversed 3 times, ended up being rather challenging, even though it was perfectly flat. So the times were fine. I think the kids were like, wait a minute, because we've been doing some time trials out on concrete, and of course they're running a lot faster there. But looking at the way the course was laid out, the terrain that they were on, the hard lefts, the hard rights, all of that slows you down. I was pleased. I thought for our first effort in 400 and whatever days, it was a good day. It was a good day for us.
Yeah, I was going to say,
a good place to build off of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, even if the times were bad, the fact that you guys were out there is a major victory in it itself, to be out there competing once again. Coach, I really appreciate the time. We're so excited to see you guys back in action, and best of luck this Saturday going up against Roosevelt at Roosevelt.
Yeah, that'll be a good day, a good morning for us. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. King head coach Brad Peters joined us here on the Inland Sports Show. We really do appreciate it. Talking a lot more cross country on the show, and we'll continue that in the coming weeks. And this segment's brought to you by Boost Performance Training. Open enrollment right now for the Bass School. That's a private school, not online. It's a private school for 7th and 8th grade boys who are serious about sports and serious about their grades. Go to boosttrainingsystems.com for more information. One more commercial break, and we'll talk a little CBU basketball when we come back on the Inland Sports Show.
96.7 KCal Rocks. What's up? It's Patrick and 40.
Hey, man, you're watching the Inland Sports Show right here.
Make sure you check out Pep, man. It's Inland Sports with Pep, but he's on every Monday and Thursday morning with Sports with Pep, man.
You guys rock.
The #1 sporting goods store in the Inland Empire is Ken's Sporting Goods in Norco. Whether you need new uniforms for the entire team, a Letterman's jacket, or new cleats for the upcoming season, check out Ken's Sporting Goods. Plus, now you can order masks with your favorite team, school, business, and more. Order for your entire team or organization. Visit KenSportingGoods.com for more information and for the latest on the big sales. Make sure to follow Ken Sporting Goods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you need team uniforms or sports gear, there's only one place to go in the Inland Empire. That's Ken Sporting Goods. Hey guys, it's Pep Fernandez from the #1 sports show in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. I wanted to let you know about the Bass School. That stands for the Boost Alternative School for Student Athletes. All of us are trying to find a way to get ahead in the classroom and in athletics. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Wanting to give your son the best opportunity to succeed. Bass is an all-boys private middle school servicing 7th and 8th grade student athletes. They've got unique, customized curriculum for student athletes, individualized nutrition and athletic development, plus rigorous academic development with small class sizes. This is not an online homeschool. This is a private school for students who are serious about their grades and serious about their sports. Bass School enrollment for the 2021-2022 school year begins in January, so don't wait. Lock up your spot today. Visit boosttrainingsystems.com for more information. For California Baptist.
Murrieta with it back out to Caitlin Harper. She'll try the three, and it's good for Caitlin Harper. So the Lancers only have 3 3-pointers in this game. And if you said Caitlin Harper would have 2 of them, you would be correct.
Bingo, Caitlin Harper and CBU women's basketball. They are 16-0 on the season. They have not lost. They have won 19 games in a row dating back to last season. So they just keep on keeping on. And they scheduled a non-conference game coming up on Monday, February 22nd against the University of Oregon. So we'll see if the Lancers can knock off a Pac-12 team, and I think there's a very real chance that they will still be undefeated when they go up against the Oregon Ducks on a Monday afternoon here in Riverside. On a more somber note here, the CBU men's basketball team was scheduled to play the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley this Friday and Saturday night at the CBU Event Center here in Riverside. Those games have been postponed. I think they're going to try to possibly make those up in the future before the end of conference play in the WAC. But the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley's head coach, Lou Hill, passed away on Sunday. And their beloved head coach passing away, they are still obviously shocked by this news, and they have decided to not play those games this weekend. So for CBU, what that means for the Lancers is they are looking to schedule a couple games this weekend against a non-conference opponent. They're hoping to have that lined up and maybe announced as early as Thursday. We'll see if the Lancers are back on the floor come this weekend. All right, that's going to do it for this Inland Sports Show. Big shout out to our director, Johnny Nunez, behind the scenes here at Teen Vision TV 16. And a big thank you to our guests. It was a real big, juicy show tonight. Kraig Broach for the Liberty Bison, George Wilson for the Murrieta Valley Nighthawks, and you just saw Brad Peters for the King Wolves cross-country team join us here on the show. We always appreciate it. A big thanks to them as we talk Inland Empire sports every single Wednesday night, 6:05 first pitch. My name is Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in. And this segment, Johnny, I didn't forget, was brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods since 1976 here in the Inland Empire. With all of your sporting gear needs, they got Letterman's jackets. Hey, we might have a football season. You need gloves, you need cleats. They can hook it up. That's Ken Sporting Goods, kensportinggoods.com. All right, that's it now. That's going to do it. I think Johnny's going to roll out maybe some dramatic, inspiring music for everyone to get you through the rest of the week. There it is. Yeah, have a great week. God bless you. Have a fun weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday night for the Inland Sports Show. Good night, everybody.